I have in my possession handwritten, hand-typed documents from 1926 that date all the way back to 1894, showing exact directions on how to get to the Lost Cabin Mine. In the 80s, a lady here in town had bought a 1900s Victrola record player. Inside was a tube with these rolled up papers in there. Gold mines in the Bighorn Mountains. She just thought somebody's writing stories, so she just threw them on a shelf for 30 years. When I came by the papers and I started reading them, I read them more as directions rather than a story. And every set of directions led to the same place.
I got on Google Earth and damn near fell out of my chair. I found remnants where these people had been. I found the landmarks that they had spoke of.
That's when I came to the realization of what I had. 4 separate sets of directions that lead to this fabled Lost Cabin Mine.
I have done countless hours of research. All of the names of the people cited in these papers, these people existed. They were all alive at the time that this legend was born.
People can say I'm nuts. I don't give 2 shits, you know. These papers didn't come to me by happenstance.
This is destiny. This is what I am meant to do.
In 1865, 7 Swedes come out here to the Bighorn Mountains. They had come across some really rich diggings, more gold than they had ever seen. They mined for 3 days before they were attacked by the Indians. 2 of them hid in a cabin until dark. Took them 3 days to get back to civilization. They got arrested at Fort Reno thinking that they were deserters from the cavalry. They had $7,000 in gold. In the springtime, they headed back out here to the Bighorn Mountains, never to be heard from again. We're about to work all those same areas and find everything that they've left behind.
There've been people go in, work that mine, and every single one of them went crazy. They go in, they never come out, or they go in, they barely make it out. It changes them.
A lot of people have come out of these mountains with handfuls of gold. Nobody's ever been back to actually work the mine. I've been mining now for 10 years.
I'm a regular guy, about to make my mark on history.
Casey knows mining, I know the mountains. I grew up in a teepee. There's lots of different ways to survive up there.
With the gold that we find, me and my dad can build a mining company from the ground up and then continue forward with finding gold.
Finding this treasure would change our lives.
The hardest part about anyone finding this mine is that no one has ever had any clear record of how to get there, but I do. My documents give landmarks that you need to look for, such as a blazed tree with the initials AJH carved into the tree. There should be a quartz dump that's outside the mine shaft. Underneath the quartz dump, a powder keg that they buried there with an estimated $30,000 in gold. A dugout cabin described as being in thick forest. If you were to stand atop the lode, due south, there's the alignment of 3 mountaintops. There'd be traces of tellurium in the quartz, which can drive you completely batshit insane.
We've got to take advantage of the window we have to get up there and find what we got to get.
We've got a good idea of where the gold should be. It's not definitive. We got to follow the clues up the mountain to find it.
In the documents, all 4 sets of those directions lead to this one square.
Wow, okay.
In my documents, it describes a grass park with the beginnings of a freshwater spring near the mine shaft itself. And I'm almost positive that that's where we're going to be making our base camp. We'll make camp right in the front brush of the trees right here. The load should be on one side of us. The dugout cabin is on the other side of us.
You have a photo of what we think is a cabin?
The dugout cabin, you can see the timbers right here. Timber, 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 timber. These are roof boards. If we find that dugout cabin, we'll be within a mile of the mine shaft.
That's awesome.
You got people with millions of dollars looking for gold, and then there's Casey and me. You can't be more shoestring than this.
All right, ready?
Do this.
I've got everything on the line. I've sold everything I can sell. I've borrowed money. If we can't make this happen, it's going to be back to hard labor, either building fences or oil rigging away from my children, from my family. I wouldn't have spent the money on the helicopter if it wasn't a necessity. Where the documents lead us to, there's no motorized travel. It's helicopter or on foot. To actually go in and mine, you're going to step back into the 1800s. Everything has to be done by hand, by mule, by horse.
It takes some huge balls to do what we're doing. We're going in for 30 days. Then we've got to get out, get horses and mules, and then go back in on foot, and then we got to try and mine something. And if we can't get that done in enough time, we're going to get snowed in again.
There's our home for a while.
We're finally here, the place that I've dreamt about every single night for the past year and a half. When you think about having a life-changing moment, you want your family there with you.
Beautiful.
Magpie, he's my brother from another mother. In the mountains, Magpie's a guy who can guide us anywhere and build anything we need.
My 4 great aunt was Sacagawea, the medicine wheel of my people. He's about 40 miles down the way here. I'm a kid off the res. I've worked my butt off my whole life trying to make it in this world. But this could be the break.
My boy Austin, he's extra muscle. He's young, he's driven, and his back is strong.
My family is everything to me, and I want a good life for our family. I've always been the type of guy on the mountains to just take everything on my back, carry as much as I can.
Connie is my beautiful wife.
I am the camp cook, and I am here to make sure that we stay sane.
Gold mining has changed my life since it has become a profession. My wife would call it an obsession, but I have always been 150% or absolutely zero. I'm doing it for my kids, in all honesty, for them to have a better life, and for them to know, hey, you're never too small to dream big.
We're on the trail. When we flew in, we could look down and see the spring. That spring is prominent in all of the documentation.
We are right now exactly where the hell I want to be. You should be able to perfectly see within about 4 miles 3 large mountains.
Oh, they're right there.
Right there. I know it.
We could be, literally, within a rock's throw of the mine entrance.
You can see chunks of quartz that have traveled downstream. And there's gold in it. It's actually a piece of gold right there. Right off the end of my thumbnail. The documents tell me that somewhere along this hillside is the portal to go into the mine shaft. They have a quartz dump there, and if we're finding gold in a little tiny chunk of quartz right now, imagine what's still left up there.